Good evening. Welcome into Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears Tuesday Tidbits Topic Live. Thank you so much for being here with us live or watching on our replay. We missed you last week, but we have lots of stories about why we weren't live. So we are here chatting about all things Disney and Universal. We greatly appreciate you watching. I'm Catherine Ritchie. This is Jennifer McCormick. She's getting everything shared out on all of our.
Oh no, and we lost Catherine. So maybe she'll pop back in. But I'm going to get everything shared out on our Facebook pages so that you are familiar with how to link up with us at Topics and Tidbits. And we've got just a little bit of news, but then our plan was to talk a bit with you. Oh, there she is. Our plan was to talk with you a bit more about our trip to Universal last week. So,
All right, let's try this again.
'Tis the season. I know you are traveling at a conference, and so you're.
Can you delete the one we just posted?
Oh no, we're good. I mean, I kept talking.
We're back.
So we're good.
We're back. I'm back now. Okay.
You're back. Great. Yeah. You're back.
I thought I totally got rid of both of us. Okay.
No. So you
tells you
the live is still going. So we're good
clearly
to go.
I'm not in my typical background, so I'm going to blame it that there is a lot happening. So welcome in. I'm Catherine Ritchie, Jennifer McCormick. We are agents with Mickey Travels and Let's Adventure Travel, specializing in all things Disney and Universal. And I'm so excited. We have a lot of news to get to, but to chat about our week at Universal, we had, I mean, it felt like a week. It's only a few days actually, but had a great time. A great trip. I can't wait to tell you about all the things that a lot of people ask us about and why we would love to help you plan. So before we dive into that, we really appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button. Let us know that you're watching. If you are not yet subscribed, hitting that bell icon, greatly appreciate that. That helps us just share more about what we do with everyone out there. Our whole goal here is to share resorts and tours and rooms and live from the parks so you can really get a good idea of what's happening. So yeah, so welcome in. If you are here watching, while you are, comment, let us know where you're watching from. If you have a question or a comment, we love seeing that while we're chatting. We love being interactive as well. And as always, if you know anyone traveling to Disney or Universal, we greatly appreciate you sharing our name. So happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. It feels like it's been a long time, but it's only really been like a few days.
Well, we saw each other. For those who don't know, Jennifer and I do not live in the same place. We rarely see each other. So we saw each other for the longest stretch, maybe ever. Just really we do our own things. And then we'll talk about that. We really tried to cover everything so we could talk about it. But I don't know about anyone else. Anyone else still reeling from the time change? I just feel like that's one thing that should just go away.
It's definitely throwing me off.
No matter how old your kids get. I mean, my kids were still crabby. Luckily, I'm clearly not home anymore. Thank you, Grandma, for being there and holding down the fort. But gosh, it just does a number on you. I'm glad that didn't happen last week.
I know.
And your girls are busy with.
My gosh, it's all Irish dance all the time.
St. Patrick's Day is a big day, I think, for all of us, but especially in the McCormick household. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Except for I'm not wearing Irish green. I'm wearing Moana.
Yes.
I've got a.
We'll take it.
I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, so cute.
Jersey.
Yeah, it looks. Oh, I love it. So nice.
I wish I could say I'm wearing Irish green, but that's
what the green nails. Do you have green nails?
No, they're bluish.
Oh, okay.
They're from when we ran the race a couple of weeks ago. We went as Monsters Inc-ish characters, and so Marin was Mike Wazowski for like cosplay-ish, and I was, Sully, and so Sully's bluish, and so I went with bluish teal nails. So to do something fun.
It was such a blur. I thought maybe it was green. Yeah, nice. Well, if you're celebrating St. Patrick's Day, it is a favorite for both of. I'm Irish Catholic. If you have some things you want to jot in the comments, we love seeing that too. So let's jump into the news and talk about what's new in the world of Disney and Universal, and then we will talk about our trip.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of news this week. I think some of the big pieces that we learned were that if you're familiar with Disney World, if you like your dinner shows, we learned recently that the Spirit of Aloha Luau is not returning. So I don't know about you. I'm a little bit disappointed with that one. I really liked the Spirit of Aloha Luau, and we hadn't been in several years, but it was definitely on the list to return.
I never had taken my kids. I had gone as a couple kind of thing, like adults only. And I kept thinking, oh, I can't wait. And I've had, again, if you were a seasoned Disney traveler, I mean, I don't know about you, I get that question every so often, like, is it coming back? We loved it, or we want to take our kids, or we've heard great things. So yeah, and dinner shows are just something really special at Disney. So that was something that as we've talked about over the weeks, as more things have come back and that more the normal Disney normal or Universal normal, that was one thing that was missing. So yeah, I was sad to see it. So I don't know what's going to happen, but.
Well, gosh, it sure looks like, so with the rest of the news that was announced this week that the Disney Vacation Club will, I mean, it looks like they'll be building on that space to be able to offer more timeshare properties through the Disney Vacation Club. And so I think as far as what I've been able to suss out, and again, all of this information was just released today.
Right.
But that they will have, basically villas in that space. And so I can't tell. I mean, I've got my own thoughts. I really have to look through, what that is exactly, but I feel like they're repurposing. So if folks really follow Disney Vacation Club, they follow some of the new constructions that were announced for Disney World property way before the pandemic. There was an announcement that they were going to build a vacation club villa between Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness Cabins and Campgrounds. And so that whole property was raised and prepared for construction, and that's no longer happening. And the renderings that were just released today for the Disney Vacation Club at the Polynesian look eerily similar to me to what had been planned for Reflection. So I don't know, could be something completely different, but the artistic renderings look very similar to what they were thinking about for Reflection.
Right, and we should explain. So Disney Vacation Club, for those who don't know, I mean, that is something that Jennifer, there's lots of people that own, and you can go ahead and book those, but that also means that those sometimes become available for the regular public too.
Right.
And I think as we're seeing, as families travel really differently, they like having more space, they like having those villas. We have some great resort tours as well on our YouTube channel. So if you're interested in seeing what those are, and I know we both always have future clients that contact us and say, we want room, or we're coming with grandma or extended family, or I'm not sharing a room with my children. There are options. And we're seeing more villas added. I really think because of the demand as well.
Yeah.
Because people are traveling, they're coming for longer. So it makes sense.
Right.
Just a little bittersweet, they're fun things, but so it totally makes sense. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm interested to know how big that space will be, or how much it will encompass. I mean, I'm envisioning it takes some of the space between the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian, because I'm not sure exactly where else they could put it. Right. And then I'm also envisioning that's going to have a ton more fireworks view rooms.
Very true.
So, I mean, it looks like they intend to have a fairly short turnaround time on what that looks like. But when it comes to villas, I mean, I think the important thing to consider is that they do book out fairly far in advance. So usually cash side, I mean, 10, 11 months. I just booked yesterday villas for January for some families, 2-bedroom villas at Copper Creek at Wilderness Lodge, one of my favorites, and where we stayed over the summer. But they do book very far out. And so they're booking them now. And there are a very small allotment of villas in most cases that are made available on the cash side, because part of them are the timeshare side. And then a small amount are available on the cash or Disney side that we can book as Disney travel planners, that you could book, directly through Disney. And so, I mean, the sooner the better when it comes to some of those properties, but they are, I mean, the 2-bedroom villa, we've got a video available on our YouTube channel that we were at a Copper Creek, has a full kitchen. It's got a washer dryer. All the 2-bedroom and 1-bedroom villas have a full kitchen and a washer and dryer. I'm working on a video of a 1-bedroom villa that my daughter and I stayed in for the Princess F Marathon weekend a couple of weeks ago at Animal Kingdom Lodge. And again, it was the best thing we could have done for that time, because that space has 2 bathrooms. I mean, 2 bathrooms for 2 women after having run races and just being a hot mess.
Oh, for sure. I think that's a game changer.
Oh my gosh, it was the best thing we could have done.
Well, and the one thing to think about, I think when most people think, oh, just to speak about villas and things like that, Disney World's huge, there's lots of availability. There's only so many villas.
Very few.
Especially with larger villas. So again, Disney Vacation Club has first preference. They're booking those. 2-bedroom are hard to secure. I mean, 3-bedroom are kind of like,
unicorns.
I was like diamond in the sand. I was trying to think of a good analogy. I mean, they're hard to come by. And of course, that is, you are traveling with a lot of people. But even 1-bedrooms and studios at certain locations are hard to find throughout the year. So if that is something you're thinking about and you want that space, or you just want us to price that, you really do want to know further out, or at least look into it and hold it, as we always talk about. We'll do our normal PSA on a Tuesday night that it's $200 that's completely refundable to hold that, but know that those do 10 to 11 months early release. So, or getting in touch with us and saying, this is what I'm thinking about, and we can be ready to look for those as well.
Right. Well, I guess right now, in the case of 2023, they don't have packages announced right now. Right. And so the only thing we can do are room only reservations, meaning that you're paying the first night, knowing that if eventually you convert that to a package with tickets, you'll have to refund and redeposit. But the folks that I was working with recently, they paid about $1,000 to hold that reservation. But I mean, it's refundable. So that's the most important thing. It's completely refundable, and they'll know, eventually they'll pay that amount, but they're going to convert it to a package. Packages have much more security as far as when you can cancel, what a cancellation looks like, all of that good stuff. So eventually their plan, when we're able to book 2023 packages, is to convert it to a package. But right now, if you're looking at early 2023, it's that first night that you have to deposit to hold that. And so for villas, it's pretty significant, because again, for this group, I want to say, for the 2-bedroom villa in January, which is a lower cost time, it was about $3,300. But again, they've got a party of up to 8. They've got a full kitchen. They've got washer dryer, lots of space, amazing property.
So we'll just warn you, once you stay in a villa, it's hard to go back.
Oh my gosh, especially a 1 or 2 bedroom.
Especially the person talking to me. Yeah.
Those jacuzzi tubs, the soak, the soaker.
Right. Right.
They're glorious. Yeah.
So lots of reasons. I mean, you could be a couple and do it, but if you have teenagers, or to have those, again, extra bathrooms, to have laundry, there are definite perks that are well worth the cost.
Absolutely. And I feel like, we should mention that this is completely different than what's available at Universal. Universal resorts do have laundry services. They don't necessarily have villas with full kitchens and full bathrooms. And so, we're looking at different availability in both of those locations.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. But you can still find your laundry at all your resorts. And then, again, one more note on the Disney side is that for Disney Cruise Line, we are seeing discounts. So they've got up to 35% off select the sailings. And right now, I checked earlier today, for someone, it's 35% off select the sailings through August 1st. And so I'm seeing some sailings through summer. So through June, July, August 1st, I want to say specifically on the Disney Dream out of Miami, because the Disney Dream is moving. And so the Dream normally would sail out of Port Canaveral. Since the Wish is coming into Port Canaveral, it's moving to Miami. I found that Miami is really convenient to sail out of. We are sailing out of Miami in August 2nd. So what is that? Like 18 days? So 18
You said
days.
August, you mean April.
I'm sorry, April.
Yeah, 2
Where's
weeks.
my brain? I was looking at August for the
I
Disney
know, it was
dream, but I'm
like,
sorry, April
are you
2nd.
going? I'm like, did you book something else?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I'll be
Okay.
sailing on the Wish in August, but sorry,
Yeah.
I digress. Our next cruise is on the Magic, April 2nd, but then we'll be sailing on the Wish, August 29th. So we've got a lot of sailings coming ahead
Yeah,
of
so
us.
if you just need some wanderlust, come here and watch Jennifer's adventures. Yeah.
I'm doing the best I can.
But we've been talking about how far away it was. I saw your post today. I was like, oh my gosh, 2 weeks. How crazy is that?
I dropped some things off at dry cleaning yesterday that I realized that I needed to drop off at dry cleaning after our November trip, because I don't wear a whole lot of white linen over the winter in Minnesota, but when I go on a cruise, so it's been sitting there waiting for me to drop off at dry cleaning. And I thought, oh, the time is now, because we're traveling soon.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about a cruise, or, we're certainly seeing some changes. I know we've been getting questions too, as we see mask mandates changing throughout the country, and certainly kind of hard to believe, 2 years here we are talking about it, but that is changing. We're not seeing any differences with Disney Cruise Line right now.
Well, we are seeing some masking changes.
Yeah, not significant like some cruise lines. So
So the vaccination requirements, the testing requirements are exactly the same with Disney Cruise Line. So 5+ needs to be vaccinated and boosted. Everyone will be tested prior to embarkation. But right now, something that I'm excited about is that we are not required to wear masks other than during the theater projections. And so walking throughout the ship, I know a lot of times we were coming and going. So we were inside, outside, and it was a little bit cumbersome literally, and we're walking laps around deck 4 to get some steps in. We'd go inside for about, I don't even know, 10 paces and go back outside, but we were throwing masks on and take it off. And so, so right now masks are not required indoors as of right now. But then other than the productions, so the theater productions are still requiring them. And I appreciate that. I think that's really important for the performers.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know there's a lot of questions around it and things like that. We'll be honest, Disney Cruise Line has been very strict for good reason. So one of the only cruise lines that's requiring so much beforehand, even before you board and things like that, which again, very reassuring. Wonderful. We'll keep you posted. We don't hear that that's going to be changing dramatically anytime soon. We can hope that will change. We know there's a lot of people waiting to cruise when they can feel like it's a little more normal. But that's a great move in the right direction as well. So that's exciting too. Absolutely. So if you're thinking about summer trips, that's an awesome discount for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. And now is the time. This is not going to
last forever. I don't want to sound like I'm selling something but it's different. We've talked about this as well, even over, what would you say, the past year or so.
You're right. Yeah.
This is a really rare time. It's just not going to stay this way. Again, all of our services are free. We're happy to price something out for you to give you an idea to say, what does that mean? And a cruising is very different than a land vacation. So we can really help guide you through that process.
So speaking of a land vacation.
Well, you said the tumble monkeys, but I feel like it was so brief. We need to acknowledge as well, because I'm pretty excited about this.
I know. So, if any of you are fans of the Festival of the Lion King show at Animal Kingdom, it is near and dear to our hearts. It's my oldest daughter's very favorite attraction, I think, in all of Disney World. And we learned through a TikTok from Disney Parks that the tumble monkeys, who are amazing acrobatic performers, are returning to the Festival of the Lion King at the Animal Kingdom Park, which is, I don't know. I hesitate to say, I guess, that they make the show because they are a significant part of the show. I also highly value that fire knife dancer who, they are.
That's true too.
They are at the top of their game. And as a former, competitive baton twirler, I look at that in awe. knowing that that's something, that is again, internationally, at the height of their game. So they're just incredible performers.
Can we just go back to were you a baton twirler in high school? College?
6 years, middle school and high school.
I'm really jealous.
Actually.
I got a baton as a birthday gift. I think I was maybe 10. I'm sure I'll get corrected. And I was doing my moves in front of 34 Independence Drive, and it hit my brother, and he still has a half moon scar.
Oh no!
I believe it got taken away. So
I was never a fire twirler, and I was never very good at two baton, which is something that the fire knife dancers do, or the two-hand twirling, which is just, that's hard as it is. But even just the one at the speed and velocity and skill level that they're at is highly acclaimed. So
well, and I get a lot of questions partially because of where I'm based. I was originally in Columbus, Ohio, and now live north of there. And the Columbus Zoo is phenomenal. And I get a lot of people saying, I don't know if I want to go to Animal Kingdom, and you should, because there's no comparison. But just to go for the shows is worth the price of admission, in my opinion, as well. And even for my family. So if you think, oh, how good could a show be? It's good. And I love every seat's a good seat. You get to see everything. So it isn't, just don't miss it if you're going to Animal Kingdom. And
the safari, the Kilimanjaro safari is
again, the safari
anything.
and I think that's
right. You
could go to the safari and you'd say, oh, I don't know about a safari. Oh, you'll get off and be like, oh, you were right.
Right.
Amazing. You will not,
especially when the animals sit in front of you and you're just like, we're delayed because we have a rhino sitting in front of our vehicle.
Yeah, you will not feel like you're in Florida. I promise you. You'll be like, where am I right now? So.
Right. Yeah.
Animal Kingdom is one of our favorites for sure. So that's some good things happening. So good. Well, you want to dive into where we were last Tuesday night. So if you follow our page, we should say too, we have a pretty active Facebook group, which we are really excited about. We love hearing about all kinds of comments and things like that. And we were sharing some of our stories. So Jennifer and I joined, over 40 of our fellow Let's Adventure travel agents. We were at Universal Studios Orlando from Monday through Thursday of last week. And so first of all, we want to say hi to all the ladies watching and a few gentlemen as well. Right. We loved seeing everyone in person. It was a great week. The weather was not completely our friend, but we got to do so many things. And the whole reason we take these trips and our agency sponsors these is so that we can experience everything. I know it's a tough job, and someone has to do it, to check out the resorts, to try out the parks, to tell you what's happening, to give you a feel. Especially in March too, when it can be really busy with spring breaks and things like that. Right. So we had a fun week as well. And they kept us hopping. I'm still recovering.
I can't believe it was just a week ago with all that we got in.
Last night I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, a week ago we had just been in a parade. Right. So if you follow us, I love a parade. We both love parades, but I love a parade. So one of the fun things at Universal is they really celebrate Mardi Gras.
Forever.
For
months.
A really long time. like a long time. And it's in the Universal Studios part of the park. And we were surprised and we got to ride the floats. And you might be like, oh, okay. No, we were full on these floats that are designed by the same people who designed the floats in New Orleans. We got to be on it with strict instructions. I just want to say, throwing beads is harder than
but it's exhilarating. It's so fun, unless you hit people in the face and then you feel really bad.
It happened a few times. Right. I will say.
My aim is not great either.
I really was working hard. And then the pressure, people are looking at you. So there is this parade nightly. And so literally you're on the floats, they come out. There's stilt walkers, there's performers. If you haven't been to Universal, I'll be frank, it's a very different feel than Disney. Especially in the sense, it definitely feels like not to the full carnival. Maybe if you were down on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, family friendly. but very festive, lots of music. I mean, people were just smiling. I mean, for 35 minutes, that's how long the parade is, the route we took. I did not stop laughing or smiling. It was so much fun. Yeah.
And the number of people following the parade route and just asking for beads, like, come see me. And we try to throw them to them.
So if you haven't followed, check out our Facebook page. I mean, literally we started with like rows of beads across, and it was just fast and furious. We ran out of beads. We were throwing so many. Right. So fun. So if you are visiting the parks, you have a chance to be on a float. How cool is that? Like,
I had no idea until we did this that it was part of the virtual queue every day.
Yeah, I'd heard of it, but I didn't know anyone who, I don't think any of us had done it before. No. So you get to wear this ridiculous costume that is quite hot, not stylish, but so fun. And there's, I don't even know how many people you would say, but we got to do that, that's how it kicked off our time at Universal. Which was
so much fun. Right. Several dozen. I wouldn't say 100. I don't think there were like 100, but maybe.
Close.
Maybe.
Yeah. They choose a king and a queen. Right. And it's kind of fast and furious, and people are literally lining the parade route, yelling for beads. So you're just making people happy. Sometimes you would get it in their hand.
Right. And I mean, on the receiving end of this, in 2019, my family and I were at Universal, pre-pandemic for the Mardi Gras celebration. And I mean, my youngest daughter was enthralled with the beads, and she left with so many beads. I was surprised that she could carry her neck out of there. But it was just so fun because just being in that environment and hoping that someone would, throw beads to you or near you or whatever, and just enjoying the parade, and then coming back and being in the parade was almost transformative. Like, it was incredibly fun, and I can't recommend it highly enough. I think that enjoy that experience.
So maybe being on the parade float wouldn't be for you, but maybe just standing there and watching and getting that atmosphere. And I think, again, the joy of, as we know, life has not been the same in the past 2 years. So for people to be out and, they were working hard to get the beads for their kids, and then there'd be like 3 siblings and you're trying to throw, but it's just fun. That's all it is. Again, like you said, the kids are leaving with just laden with beads. So that's something, it's not extra. It's part of your admission during these dates for Mardi Gras. And then they also have amazing food trucks as well. Did you get to enjoy any of that? Well, yes, you did.
I think you probably saw, I enjoyed a lot of them. So we, one of our fellow agents and I split a Mardi Gras pass. And so they've done things differently in different years. In the past, they've done like passes where you would purchase a certain number of tastes, and then you take those around. This year it was strictly a gift card. And so we spent $120 and got $150 worth of whatever from the food trucks, which ended up being a lot more than I expected it to be. I mean, we got Bloody Marys, we got everything from dessert. I mean, we got étouffée, we were able to taste, what do you call, pies, moon pies. They had,
they had a lot of stuff.
Beignet. We had, 3 or 4 different types of drinks. I mean, there was a ton of food in that. So, I mean, having, paying the $120, getting the $150 value for 2 people and splitting that in a day was still a lot. It was more than
the moment that you got something free at a theme park. I mean, the fact that you got $30.
Right. Cool. Well, and I didn't feel like the pricing was excessive. I mean, even if you were just to pay cash without getting that extra specialty card. I mean, I think we paid, we got our first drink in the super fun cup for $13. And the cup was, I still have it at home because my kids love it. It's heat sensitive, and so it turns colors, but then you get your refills for $7. And so over the span of a few drinks over, the span of the day, it was really very reasonable for theme park pricing.
I thought it was really reasonable. And the day we were eating, I was with, we weren't together for this part. I was with 3 other agents. And again, a perfect example of, we all wanted something different. Right. So we said, okay, this is where we're going to eat. everyone go get your food and drink. And I wanted a beer. Someone else wanted something else. We all got different food. They got different drinks. Yeah, it was nice. But I did think it was reasonable. Again, you don't see that at Disney where you can, I don't think, where you buy the cup and then you can get a reduced.
No, no, maybe
It
on a
was
cruise.
so, yeah, I know, right? Right. It
Yeah.
was so, I love the decor with all the food booths. I mean, just, you really felt like, at least where I bought most of my things, that you were in New Orleans. I mean, it was beautiful, however you want to pronounce it. But lots of choices. I mean, I was like, I wish I were more hungry.
No.
Yeah.
The mini beignet were so good. I got a little, I mean, I got my own serving. I think it was maybe $6, not excessive at all. And
No.
again, with this gift card that I had purchased at a discount already. And I think we got 5 or 6 of them in there. I took some pictures, but they were just super, perfect.
It was a good amount of food.
Yeah, it was really good amount of food for the prices that they were charging as well. So, I mean, I can't complain. I think that it was a wonderful deal. I mean, for a family of 4, especially, I would do the $150 card that you bought for $120 because then you get plenty of treats over the span of a number of different days for a family and then enjoy your meals as well. We didn't necessarily have any other meals throughout that day. It was just what we were getting from the food trucks because of all the other activities that we had planned that day. But it was a perfect activity for a couple of people and really maybe a little bit too much too. And again, at Disney World, that we would have spent that in a minute, for between $75 in the span of a day. No problem. On drinks. And food.
That too. And I will say, I do think regardless of using, the special gift card or not, things were pretty reasonable. I mean, that's what you're in a theme park, you're on it. Of course, you're going to pay a premium, but I do think there were lots of options. I didn't, you just know your kids are going to want those things, but the fact that you could get this card is really cool. And the food choices at Universal are plentiful. I mean, regardless, but to go during this season where there's so many more things, it was really fun. It was a great way. I will drink local beer where I am. I mean, we all thought our food was great. And that's pretty hard to duplicate as well, especially just coming out of a food truck. All the workers, they were so friendly. They were so nice. They are working hard and like masked up and in those hot food trucks.
Right. And I don't know what you experienced, but our lines were minimal. I maybe waited in line between 1 or 2 people.
I waited the longest because the woman pouring the beer had some problems, but
well, kegs can,
and it wasn't even her fault. Like it was just, then I got 2 beers out of it. So, I mean, I guess it was worth it, but there was no waiting.
No.
And so granted, that was earlier. It had rained a bit, or the rain was coming, but it was not crazy at all, that was a pleasant surprise as well.
I agree. Yeah. Well, and even, I don't think the rain was excessive for this time of year. Something that I recommend everyone prepare for is some rain and some waiting because of rain. And the value from that rain is that some people do clear out. Yeah. And so if you're able to prepare and bring a poncho or be in a space where you can wait out the rain, you will be rewarded.
Bring a poncho. So we were joking. Sometimes travel agents are the worst travelers because we just, I was talking at dinner with someone about this, like, you mean I don't have to herd my children or worry about anyone else? But again, you're going to pay a premium for a poncho or an umbrella at the park. They are there. But just going to the dollar store and having a few at the bottom of your bag can save you. And like most Florida storms, they're going to pass and it's good.
Right.
I went into the park Tuesday night. The parks were closing a little earlier while we were there, partially because of some private events that were happening, but some storms were rolling in as we walked in. People were flooding out. So the advantage was that rain rolled through. We got onto things that were a 15-minute ride. Velocicoaster. Ashley rode that. I did not. I know.
You're missing out.
I know. She rode. I know I did. I thought I wanted to function the next day. So she had a 15-minute wait. We did Forbidden Journey. Like there were things. So again, there's trade-offs. If you can throw that punch, we all had raincoats and trek through it, you can do it. Now, the one thing, I know I'm all over the place. We've talked about this. Universal is different in the sense that you can't just go on a ride with a bag or leave the bag or anything like that. So there are rides where for safety reasons, you cannot take those bags on. So you're either putting those in a locker, you're leaving them with someone. We were fortunate a couple of times we were with one of our agents who's like, I'm good. Load me up. I'm going to wait in line and chat with you. I'm going to wait in these really cool family rooms. So she would just sit in there, and you can do that if you have young children or you don't want to ride. And then she would meet us right as we were done. But you have to be prepared for that. So that's either making sure you're not carrying a lot of stuff, or you have someone that you can put the things in, or giving yourself enough time to put them in a locker. So,
but I mean, the small lockers are free.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I've traveled to Universal several times, and I always have somewhat of a bag. When I'm traveling with my family, my youngest daughter needs EpiPens. And so we're always carrying a bag because we always at least have EpiPens with us. And then I can't travel with just a fanny pack. Like I need a little bit more than that, but the small lockers are free. And so it's really easy. You scan your always have a lanyard. So I have a lanyard with my my ticket in it. You scan your ticket, you throw your stuff in your free locker, you go on the ride, you get it from your free locker. So if you need a larger space, you are paying extra for those lockers. So that's something to consider. But the small lockers are completely free and very easy to access.
And they're not big. I mean, I will just say they're not big. And for those of you who follow this, I just want to have a moment that I traveled with a backpack. I came back with 2 backpacks, but that's okay. So I had we got backpacks while we were there for our trip. And so those were, again, you're only traveling for yourself. And we jammed them in. There are the bigger ones, which is nice. But just know, I'd say that can take a little time, or if you're used to being a pack mule is what I usually am. Like we need everything possible at Disney. It's just a little different. And honestly, the perks aren't as big. I don't feel like you need as much, honestly.
I don't think you do either. And quite honestly, it's faster to get around, even if you are at the furthest resorts. Like you are just not, you can get to your resort much easier than you can at Disney for a break in the middle of the day.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you really don't. You don't need to do that. And so I know I'm jumping all over, but we stayed at Dockside Inn and Suites, which is, what would you say? Between 10 and, I mean, it depended on how long that ride, you hit the lights, but
10, 15 minutes tops.
To City Walk.
It's their value property. Mm-hmm. It's their lowest price. Dockside Inn and Suites, Endless Summer, Dockside Inn and Suites, and Endless Summer, Surfside Inn and Suites are their lowest cost properties, and they're the furthest away. And the buses ran constantly. There was almost no wait. And this has been my experience every time I've gone to Universal Studios. This is not something special for this trip these days. Their buses are incredibly efficient. And I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it anyhow. If you are used to Disney buses, they pale in comparison. It's the same thing. They're city buses-ish,
very similar
vehicles, but they are so much faster and so much more efficient.
And it's true. I mean, I think also because they're running more often, you're not as far
away.
Property
smaller. Yeah.
It is. Right. It's just everything. The footprint of Universal is smaller.
Well, and there's one security entrance as well for those taking buses.
Yeah. So you're coming into what's called City Walk. And so once you're through there, you're good to go. So you're not, you're scanning your ticket once you're going into the parks, but you're not doing your security screen. The security screen was really efficient. We went in at times where it was very quiet and there were only a few, but we went in during peak time and of a morning, and you just move through. So
they're fast. Yeah.
They are fast. And it would feel more, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it compared to, it's just longer. I don't know. It felt like they had more to get you through. So then once you're through, you can enjoy City Walk or you can speed walk to get into the park, but it's a different setup, which I really liked, actually. I thought it was really
I love their layout. I really do.
Really nice. And especially depending on who you're traveling with or what they're interested in. I just thought that was a nice feature. So we were at Dockside and we had great rooms. So we had,
So fun.
I know, I think do they call it a 2-bedroom? I have trouble.
Yeah, they're 2-bedroom suites. They're small. They're very small. Yeah. But the pricing is, I mean, I've booked these for families before and they're around $150 in the middle of the summer for families of up to 6 people. And so you've got 2 queen beds on one side, a queen bed in the other room, only 1 bathroom. So again, they're really small properties, but the space, I mean, just to have up to 6 in one room at that price is.
And to have a real bed.
And to have a real beds, right?
I think that's separate. There's a bedroom so you can shut the door. And then to have 2 more queens. And then there's the cutest little like mini picnic table. And there's a full, there's a fridge, there's a microwave. It's laid out really, it feels airy, it's fresh. We didn't even share rooms, but 2 adult women in a room. But I could see having my kiddos there and not feeling like and how much are you in the room really?
Right. That was wonderful too. So, and before I forgot, Paul Chamberlain in the quotes, in the middle of summer last year, never waited longer than 5 minutes for a bus at Dockside. And that's my experience at Dockside and now at Cabana Bay. And then also Royal Pacific, you don't even need a bus. You can walk. And so that's what you're looking at. I mean, you're really not waiting. But, the one thing that I really liked, as much as the property is smaller and it maybe isn't going to be my first choice again going forward because it's so small, but there were 2 of us with very different sleep styles in the same room. And I could wake up at 4:30 in the morning because I have a sickness and I'm like my grandma, and get up and go to the bathroom and be awake for a little while and then get up and go down to Starbucks inside my hotel at 6 a.m. when they open to get my coffee, get my, oatmeal, and do a little bit of work before my roommate, was awake and ready to go for the day. And neither of us were disturbing anybody, which I thought was.
Oh, I think there's like 2 good points to unpack there too, is that the lobby's lovely. There's the food court area is huge as well. So you would see people down there. The Starbucks opens very early. I mean, to have that huge Starbucks right in your lobby, they were busy, but they did a very good job. Even at peak time, they were churning things out. So the fact that you have that, one thing I'd mentioned too, and I had this question, Universal, they have, there's bars at every resort. You don't see a full bar at a Disney value property. So if you're someone who likes a bar.
They have them usually, but not inside the food area.
Inside, the food court is huge. Again, for a value property at that price point, if you're looking at that, they both, Dockside where we stayed, 2 pools. So one that's 0 entry, one that's not, but they all have sand. All of the pools have sand. And one thing we're not even gonna get to it all tonight, but we got to tour a lot of resorts as well. Universal offers swim diapers for free at every resort. Luckily, we are out of the swim diaper stage. However, that's
game changer.
Huge.
Right.
Yeah. So
and at Volcano Bay, by the way. So if you're going to
Volcano Bay,
you can get them for free there too.
That's crazy.
Right.
If you haven't purchased swim diaper, they are not cheap. So obviously most people are coming with them, but the fact that you can get those, that there's sand at every pool, there's some really cute features as well. Right. Granted, we were there not when the weather, I'm saying the weather wasn't great just because the pools never felt packed. We went out to the pool one evening. We were hoping to go in. We instead had a beverage and a donut from Voodoo Donuts. I mean, as you should, but sat out there and the pool bar is huge. There were a fair amount of people there, but it was quiet. So it was really nice. So lots of places to sit. You can grab your towels if you're going over to Volcano Bay, so you're not paying that. It's a great layout. It's a great option. We certainly always encourage getting that express pass, and I think we saw that in action while we were there. So looking at those other certain resorts that have that available, that when you're choosing to book that resort, express pass is part of that. So that's really valuable. that's something you're not looking for, you're maybe adding it to just a day. There's a lot of other top choices as well. We got to tour almost all the resorts as well, which was really great too. So
I know. I really struggle because I like all of the resorts, but I love Express Pass. And with it included, you know, in the premier resorts, it's tough to stay at the other ones because I'm a family of 4. And so once we spend $150 to $200 per person for Express Pass per day, I'm not going to spend $800 a night on a hotel room.
Well, no.
So if I can spend $400 on a club level hotel room at Volcano Bay and get free included unlimited express, that's my answer all the time, no matter how much I love Cabana Bay.
Absolutely. And the resorts are beautiful. Obviously, again, Universal's footprint is a lot smaller, but the fact that all the theming is really pretty. It didn't feel busy when we were there. Great pools, great amenities, especially at those premier level. I mean, you've heard us talk about club level. At Disney, that's a premium for sure. At Universal, it will pay for itself really quickly. So let us price that for you. We're looking at that. We got to tour that as well. But yeah, really different feel. I mean, I could see Portofino great for families. You just want to have a girls trip. You want to do a couples escape. I think any of these where you can walk really easily to the parks or take a quick boat ride. I mean, there's a lot of great options at Universal that I think people don't realize how many good ones there are too.
Well, and I do want to spend just a few minutes talking about Volcano Bay because Volcano Bay has my heart.
I love it.
I love it. I mean,
I'm sold now.
And I've heard from non-water park people that they love Volcano Bay.
I think if you surveyed everyone who was there, because a lot of agents hadn't been to Volcano Bay or hadn't been, you know, more recently, it really feels lush. And I'm saying that in the sense of from the time you get off the bus, you go through security, we were staying on property, obviously, you start walking in. I mean, they start it from there. You're going through this tunnel. It is palm tree. It is like, you feel like you're in the tropics. Just like when we talk about the safari at Disney and you're like, am I in Florida? I mean, you really do. They have totally owned the theme. And so I was lucky. I got to go on Monday when the weather was beautiful. So we ate there, had the food. It was great. Ashley, Tara, and I rode some rides. If you know me, I'm not always doing that, but I got sucked in somehow. We went on 3 different rides.
Wow.
We didn't realize it was going to be so extreme. But I loved having, you have a band called a Tapu Tapu, so you're tapping things, the lockers open that way. I'm not a water park person. I'm not. I never took my children to water parks until more recently. You could go there and you would, I don't know how to say this, you just wouldn't feel like you're in a water park. There's so much shade. There's beaches, there's more, I feel, more restaurants and bars and shady places to sit, where if you had older kids, I'd be like, I'll be here. Just come find me here. Lot of food. They have mobile ordering at some of the restaurants, definitely not as prevalent as Disney, but we tried it to do it. We got our food way faster than everyone else. It's lovely. And so either as a standalone, highly encourage it. But if you're doing a couple of days at Universal, we both say this, add it on as that.
It's not that much more. So with the current ticket deal right now, if you were to do a 5-day ticket, just the 2 parks, park to park, or if you were to do the 3 days, add 2 days free with the 3-day parks. I mean, for those 5 days, from the 2 days to the 3 days, it's like an extra $4.88 per person. Like, it's negligible. I just priced it out for somebody, and I can't encourage it more. I mean, I may be a little bit more of a water park person.
You are, but still
water. But I'm not like a huge thrill ride person. I like the sun. I like the lush. I'm not crazy like with the drop slides or whatever, but I live streamed a walk around Volcano Bay because I really wanted people to see it. I really wanted you to see everything that was available. I like a lazy river. This time I didn't go on the lazy river at all. I went on the action river.
We did that too. Oh my word.
You have to put on a vest because it's
so hard.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Well, we were laughing.
Wait,
We
you
should have
never
had a game plan before we got in. Like we should have done 2 loops, like the first loop, and then it is so fun. Like if you have, I don't know, tweens, teens, I mean, you do have to be a certain size, and it goes. And there's moments you're like, and some of us just seem to float better in the water than others. It was like a magnet to the wall. I'm sure this would be shocking to a lot of you who watch, but so fun. And again, I think it was those kind of things, like my kids would have loved that you could hop in, you could stay in it for a while. I think we didn't wait. I mean, there were no waits for anything.
No, not for the Fearless River, the Teawa Fearless River.
Yeah, and we did some of the slides. I won't do the drop slides. We did some of the raft rides. So we were 2s or big groups.
Very limited weights, yeah.
It's great. It really is. So watch our walkthrough for sure, because it's really pretty.
And then again, Paul mentioned Cabana. So they do have cabanas for rent. They vary in price. I mean, peak pricing is usually about, $500 a day. So it's not insignificant, but they give you, a fruit tray. You have towels, which normally cost to rent. You've got obviously a place to relax that is yours. You can mobile order from a screen right in your cabana. You can join the Tapu Tapu lines from a screen, so you can get in line for the next attraction from a screen in your cabana. Some of them have some amazing views available as well, but cabanas are a great option. They do book up in the summer and in the in the peak times. There are a few times of year where you can get them if you go to a concierge desk when you arrive in, though I would never recommend that. I would say always try to book that in advance, but I really think it's worth that experience to get a cabana for the day, especially again, if you're in the heat of the summer, if it's July, if it's going to be like 100 degrees and that you want, a home base for your whole family, it's a great option. You'll have sodas and waters and other things available to you in that space, dedicated server.
Excuse me. Absolutely. Or if you're traveling with babies or little ones or that extended family who grandma wants to go maybe and walk around a little bit and see the kids, but doesn't want to be out in full sun, or she's willing to kind of stay with baby, or you just want to have a break, or maybe, your spouse or partner isn't a sun person. They just want somewhere to hang out. That's perfect. And it's a great option. And they're cool. They're really nice.
$5 per person for the benefit of visiting Volcano Bay on top of what you would normally be spending anyhow to visit the parks. I think it's a small price to pay for that convenience overall.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Gosh, I know so much to talk about. So that's the nice thing. So know that we booked Disney and Universal, and in the next few weeks, we'll kind of go back to choosing a specific topic so we can talk more about it, because we didn't even get to the parks that much, or some of the resorts or dining. We ate very well all week and tried some different things too. So
I love the food at Universal. I think they do a really nice job.
I ate well.
The drinks.
The drinks aren't bad, we'll just say. But
I mean, like Margaritaville, whatever.
Margaritaville did deliver, and she set us up. We had a good time. Yes, we had, and again, when we go, we try to experience a lot of different places because we want to be able to recommend that to our clients, and everyone likes a different feel. And again, because Universal set up a little differently with City Walk and all the restaurants, and there's really quick choices, or there's beautiful sit down places you can enjoy too. So we were trying to go to the karaoke bar that was closed. They had a private event.
Next time. We will get there next time.
So again, perfect for families, but I mean, there is a lot. There's just so much
for everybody. I mean, there's really something for everybody, for every price point. Universal delivers across the board.
It does.
But I because Disney will always have my heart. I am emotionally connected to Disney.
We both are, yeah.
And every time I go to Universal, I'm impressed every time. I'm impressed with the team members. I'm impressed with the experience, with the food, with the ease of the experience. Again, I am a Starbucks-aholic, and I really love that Starbucks is in the lobby of most of the resorts, not in Royal Pacific. So Royal Pacific doesn't have my heart. They serve Starbucks coffee, but it's not a Starbucks. location.
Right. Everywhere else. And in the parks too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the hours that they're available is wonderful. The food in all of the food courts. I mean, because I'm tend to be more of a quick service food person.
Yep.
I don't like to really plan around it too much. And then the merch. I think I'm really used to spending an arm and a leg for merch. But when I was looking at, coffee tumblers and spirit jerseys, I was looking at like $19.99 to maybe $39.99 for spirit jersey. And I can promise you the one I'm wearing right now, again, I showed it off before, cost me probably like $70.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, it's a fraction of the cost of what you would pay for Disney. And of course, we know emotional connection one way or another, but Universal's a great experience.
It is. It is. Certainly. And we're seeing more and more people looking into it, quite frankly, as well. So if you have questions about that, reach out to us at any point. Search our Facebook group or our YouTube channel if you're thinking you want to see some videos or get a better idea of what resorts look like. We're always happy to share that. And again, price out some options and let you see comparisons as well. So that's what we love doing. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you so much, Catherine, for being available. I know your schedule is not such that it was easily conducive to meetings. She's at a conference right now.
Yeah.
Yes. From a location that is not as familiar to her, but I really want to appreciate everyone who's watching. And please, if you don't already, please subscribe, hit the like button, take a look at our videos. We will continue to post videos of resorts and different experiences that we've had. I try to live stream wherever I go as much as possible. We'll see if that's possible when I'm on a Disney cruise, but we'll definitely post some videos from that as well. And take a look at the playlists. So we have some fun playlists. And then also please share with your friends and family. We are here and trying to provide a service to make it easier for everyone to plan their trips, to have some resources, to reach out. If there are questions, that's what we're here for. And that's what we really love doing. So, absolutely. Yeah. So thank you for joining us. Thanks, Paul, for always being Paul and Stephanie.
I love the comments. Thank you.
The whole family.
Yes.
Really appreciate you joining in the conversation, and